It is 5:15 in the evening because of daylight savings time. The light is nearly gone, but it should make for a cool effect. Hopefully the noise pollution from the lawnmower running off to the side isn't that noticeable. But this is a good setting for a short talk. One thing that I've been considering is a paradox called the self-absorption paradox. This paradox states something to the effect of, as a person's level of self-awareness increases, their level of psychological distress increases as well, but also increasing is their level of psychological well-being. This is a very interesting paradox, as I feel it relates very strongly to having a disability. I feel that it relates very strongly to the conflicts that I struggle with internally on a daily basis. I would say that I am very self-aware of situations around me and where I fit in to society as a whole. And this high level of self-awareness that I do not believe most people with a disability possess has unquestionably had a negative impact on my psychological state. It has, without a doubt, increased my psychological distress. Now, if we were to take the other half of the paradox is arguing that well-being is also increased in this situation. You can, without a doubt, make that argument. You can make the argument that as my psychological distress has increased, my psychological well-being has also increased from self-awareness, in the sense that I understand that the level of self-awareness I have reached can be expressed to other people. It can, in a sense, be transferred and taught to people en masse. So in a sense, my well-being has increased. However, this is not always the case. Just because my psychological well-being has also increased does not mean that that is the end state. At any given moment, psychological distress can take hold. And when that happens, you never know how far that's going to take you down and what it's going to lead to. No one would say, for example, that an increased level of self-awareness that leads to suicide is one where your well-being had also increased. That is just not a case that can be made. So, this paradox, although very interesting, has limitations. It is not true in all circumstances. One would argue that it is not true in most circumstances. I would argue that the thought process in this paradox is only true for a smallish segment of cases. This is why human nature is so hard to understand. People want to make generalizations and connect things and discern a relation. But that relation only goes so far. It is built on fragile ground, and as a result, is only applicable to a certain number of cases. There's another thing that I thought was very interesting that happened today. If you have cerebral palsy or another neurological condition, you will understand how difficult it is to have control of things like the muscles in your feet and the muscles in your toes. The only time where you have the ability to engage specific muscles in your feet if you have cerebral palsy is if you have an intense itch. If you have an intense itch, that will trigger the muscles in that very specific area to fire. And for, let's say, the 3 minutes that that intense itch comes and goes, you will have focused muscle activity in your feet, which is pretty cool because you never really get that in physical therapy. If you did, you probably wouldn't need physical therapy. So when things like that happen, when you get an intense itch like that, take note and appreciate it for what it is. Understand that muscles are engaging in a way that they never really do otherwise. So it's a unique situation that is very fleeting, meaning it doesn't last long. So appreciate it. This is a nice coloring right here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty dark. It's going to be interesting to see, going back to edit, what it looks like. I can see a plane very high in the sky with its lights. You're not going to be able to see it though.